Cardinals come in with a record of 25-24, third place in the NL Central. Matt Carpenter will lead off for St. Louis, followed by the shortstop, Aledmys Diaz. Matt Holliday will bat third, then Piscotty in the cleanup spot, followed by Randall Grichuk. Yadier Molina will hit sixth. Bottom of the order, Jerko, Garcia, and Wainwright for Mike Matheny's St. Louis Cardinals. Matheny picking up his 400th victory as Cardinals manager last night.
It's unbelievable. That time has flown by that quick. It seems like La Russa was just down there a couple of years ago.
He thought that was a big deal until Dusty Baker got number 1,700.
Right, the night before. Wow.
It's a lot of baseball.
Matheny in his 5th season as the Cardinals skipper. Cardinals will face the 30-year-old left-hander with a record of 3-2 this season. 2-1 lifetime against St. Louis, Gio Gonzalez.
You know, it's the best I've seen him right now since Oakland, really, Tom. He's got the breaking ball working again, and that's been the biggest thing for me watching him pitch.
Yeah, he's a guy that the curveball really, when he gets ahead of both right-handers and left-handers, that's his go-to pitch. Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, has done a real good job getting him to be more efficient with his pitches. That's been a problem.
Our keys to the game brought to you by Lincoln.
Well, for the Cardinals, curves ahead. Ethan Gonzalez got a good curveball. Adam Wainwright, one of the best in the game. And Bryce Harper, one of the best curveball hitters in all of bases. Can't wait for that matchup. And for the Nationals, get Gio 4 runs. When they do in his career, get this. He's 66-0.
Man, it's impressive.
For the Nationals defensively, Zimmerman, Murphy, Espinosa, Drew around the infield. Worth, Revere, and Harper from left to right. And the battery of Gonzalez and Jose Lobaton.
Lobaton is Gonzalez's regular catcher. Ramos caught the last start, and Gonzalez came out of that giving up 7 runs and 10 hits.
Yeah, it was funny. They were talking about, well, you know, we're not going to have a catcher-pitcher that has that kind of relationship. We'll see what we can do. We may still be open to it. I don't think so.
Well, Matt Carpenter is back with the Cardinals. Missed the last 3 games after his wife Mackenzie gave birth to their daughter Kinley. So Carpenter back from the paternity list. Cardinals designated infielder Ruben Tejada for assignment earlier today. So Greg Garcia remains with St. Louis and is in the starting lineup here tonight.
Well, I think it's interesting. You look at Carpenter's numbers. The power's been there, but we're used to seeing him 320, 330, 310, somewhere in that range, right? But I think the concentration will be there even more now. First child, you got that on your mind. You're trying to concentrate on baseball. He told me before the game, and I saw him walking in the hallway, he said, my wife tapped me at 1 a.m. and it was like, let's go, time to go. So now baseball takes off, and you know, it's tremendous for everybody. The baby's healthy, and now he's back playing ball.
32 runs batted in, 7th in the National League. Gets a piece of it. So the count remains 1-2. Carpenter leading off for the Cardinals. He'll be followed by Diaz and then Holliday.
That's a tough matchup, though, for Carpenter. Adrenaline's a wonderful thing, but yeah, Gio Gonzalez is pretty tough, too. 1 for 13 against Gio, mostly because of that breaking ball. He's never pulled the ball against Gio at all. Everything has been opposite way or center field.
Well, that's a good at bat. Getting a little bit deeper in the count now. He's fouled off a couple pitches. It's just important when you haven't played for a few days, and also you're facing a guy that's really been tough on you. Now he's seen 2 or 3 or 4 different pitches, and the next AB is really when it cashes in if you don't hear.
That's a great take right there. That's what Gio will do. He said when he gets ahead, it's not just the curveball, but that curveball thrown perfectly. Bounce it. Start it in the zone and let it get out of the zone. Good take by Carpenter.
The 2-2 from Gonzalez. Carpenter down on strikes, 1 away.
Same MO. H started in the zone, 2 strike, need to protect. Watch it move out of the zone. Great location.
Well, it gives you get 2 or 3 different looks on the breaking ball. It's one thing to say, hey, he throws a curve, but you saw right there, that was a little harder slurve, and then he'll drop the nasty one on you. He's got 2 or 3 different looks on that pitch.
So here's Diaz, the 25-year-old shortstop, batting .327, 7th in the National League. He's 4th in the league in runs scored. Batting .415 on the road this season.
I couldn't believe how big he is. Broad shoulders, just very well put together. He's thick. That's where all that power comes from. I was wondering, how is he generating all this bat speed? He's a big kid.
A look at the splits. 268 at Busch Stadium, 415 away from home. Facing Gonzalez for the first time. 1-2. So Diaz stays alive with Matt Holliday waiting on deck. Two up, two down, 2 strikeouts for Gio Gonzalez.
Looks like another one of those breaking balls to go to. It's almost the same pitch he threw to Carpenter, same location, just differences of right-hand hitter.
Lobaton had tapped the ground with the glove just to reinforce, not just throwing a curveball, but get it down, Gio. I love that there. Just a little more reinforcement. That's the catcher-pitcher dynamic working well together.
Nationals pitching staff leads the league in strikeouts. So 2 down. Here's Matt Holliday.
Boy, and Tom, to your point, that little thing like that tapping on the ground, that just tells you the communication they've had. Hey, make sure you make me get that ball down. You know, little things like that, when you get to know each other, come into play big. Look at him right there. Settle down. Here's Tom's point right here. Tapping the ball to the ground, get it down. Look at him, look at the hitter, seeing where he's setting up at. All those things, you want to take that away from the pitcher having to think. And that's where that relationship comes in. That's sitting on the bench during the game while somebody else is pitching and talking about what you might want to do. Things like that.
Gonzalez strikes out the side in the top of the first on 15 pitches. 12 of them strikes. Game on Thursday night of the series opener, trailing only Bruce Bochy among active managers. First season here in Washington for Dusty. Ben Revere will lead off, then Jason Worth. Bryce Harper bats third. Daniel Murphy in the cleanup spot. Ryan Zimmerman, the first baseman, will hit 5th. Then Stephen Drew, bottom of the order. Espinosa, Lobaton, and Gonzalez as the Nationals get set to face the 34-year-old right-hander with a record of 4-3 on the season, Adam Wainwright, who has won his last 4 starts against the Nationals. Strike 1 to Ben Revere.
Sinker, cutter, curveball. Career high usage of the cutter so far. Really rarely throws a 4-seamer anymore. Saw the cutter right there, doing exactly what it's designed to do. Yeah, on the lefty's hands, all you can do is foul it off and set up the breaking ball away.
Yeah, exactly. Great point, Tom. Because you know what? Now, with Wainwright's breaking ball, I've always thought that combination fastball, curveball changes your eye level so much. And now he's got that cutter to get you off the hand. So you got to think fastball and react in, and then he drops his hook on you.
Garcia across to retire Revere, 1 away.
Wainwright's been much better the last few starts. Of course, coming back from the Achilles injury, had a lot of rust in the month of April. Just a matter of getting back on the mound, getting the reps and pitches underneath his belt. And I think the last 2 starts especially, he's been much more on point.
With 1 away, here's Jason Worth. Just 5 for 27 lifetime against Wainwright.
Well, Jason take a peek down at third base. Garcia playing way back. He wants a bunt. It's all there for him. He doesn't bunt much at all, but that'll make you think.
Look, when you're sitting at 225, you're thinking a lot of things. 2-0, he's probably swinging, looking for his pitch here, but 2-1 wouldn't be bad either. That ball's so bad, he threw it all the way out.
It's the ball's fault.
Yep, don't want that to re-enter the game at all.
Bryce Harper waiting on deck. The 3-0 from Wainwright in for a called strike. Now 3-1. Diaz, 2 out. So the base is empty and 2 away in the bottom of the first inning. Here comes Bryce Harper. Career numbers against Adam Wainwright, 6 for 15. 2 hits in the series, including a home run on Thursday night, his 12th of the season. And as Harold mentioned in our open, only his 2nd since May 8th.
Aggressive swing right there. You know, it's a good matchup for Bryce. He hits a breaking ball well. Wainwright likes to challenge down and in a little bit. It's a good matchup for him.
Just 2 for 19 against Cardinals pitching this season.
Well, I like the aggressive swing on the first pitch because he's been caught in between lately. So many pitchers have pitched around Bryce. I think sometimes he anticipates being pitched around and misses the ball in the zone. His take rate on strikes in the zone is a career high. So I like going up there, especially 2 outs, bases empty, and letting it fly.
Nice play.
Nationals retired in order in the bottom half.
Get ahead, expand.
Stephen Piscotty leads off for the Cardinals here in the 2nd. Grand slam in the 3rd inning off Max Scherzer last night. And for Gonzalez, guys, only the 2nd time in his career he has struck out the side in order in the 1st inning. Did it against the Orioles while pitching for Oakland back in May of 2011. 5 years ago yesterday, in fact. There's Max in the Nationals dugout. Cardinals have had great success over the last 3 days against both Max Scherzer and Jake Arrieta, who allowed a season-high 4 earned runs to the Cardinals on Wednesday in 5 innings, and then Cardinals scored 5 in 7 innings off Scherzer last night.
That's pretty good. You sit there and you look at this and you go, oh, Arrieta. Oh, no. Scherzer, Gonzalez, Strasburg. Oh, my gosh. I mean, I get a hit for a week. So to come out and pound those guys like that, man, they're feeling pretty good about the rest of the road trip.
And it will be Steven Strasburg tomorrow against Michael Wacha. Payoff pitch to Piscotty, missing away, so the Cardinals have their first base runner as Piscotty draws a leadoff walk.
Well, he pitched him like he was hot, too.
Yeah, he did. And you saw he signed him a hot hitter, too. Stayed off that last pitch. Didn't get the chase right there. 3-2 pitch.
This is a guy the Cardinals got to get going. It's such a nice 2nd half last year and really emerged as, hey, I'm going to take over the center field position. He's going to supply some power, get the average there. He's just got to get going to be consistent for them to really get off on a run.
Grichuk go for his last 9, batting just .232 overall.
Kid gave you the thumbs up. He's listening to you, Kenny. Yep, that number was right.
Paying attention.
But what Gio pounds that inside on these right-handers, and the way he sets up, we'll get into that later. I know, Tom, you love to look at how guys start on the rubber.
Well, he's got that crossfire delivery. You're right.
Yeah.
Sets up on the third base side, steps a little bit slightly towards the first base side, pitches over that front leg and cuts it in on the right-handed hitters.
The other thing that does, it holds that runner at first base, because it almost looks as if he's coming to first base with how he lifts his leg to deliver, because he really steps cross body, crossfires a lot.
And that's why it's a great point. No one has attempted to steal second off Gio all year.
In 9 starts.
I mean, that first, when he lifts his leg and that's first stride, you think, oh, he's going to first base. And the best move that a left-hander has that has movement, motion like Gio there, is not to throw to first. Because you're always thinking as a base runner, I want to see his best move. But if he doesn't ever throw and you're not sure if he's coming or not and you can't read him, it's the best thing he can do. Just don't throw.
Exactly what David Price does under the same theory. Rarely throws to first base. Very difficult to run on without hardly ever throwing over there.
Scotty takes his lead off first. The 1-2 to Grichuk. Missing high and away, now 2-2.
And if you absolutely decide to run on him, you're basically guessing. You really are, because he does not give you a good read. By the time you're able to realize he's going home, it's too late. So you got to guess. First movement. He's got a little bit bigger lead right now. Maybe setting himself up for the 2-2 pitch right now. Maybe you get the 3-2 and he runs. You get a bigger lead, 2-2.
Center field, Revere. 1 away.
Well, here's a look at what we're talking about, where the pitchers are standing on the rubber. And Tom, this is what I'm hanging out with you. I've really started to recognize this a little bit more. I'll let you take it away.
Well, you'll see they're both on the far side of the rubber, but you'll see Gio will throw from about over here, which means he's about 2 feet offset from the center of the rubber. His release point will be way back over here. So what he's doing is, even though he starts on that third base side with that crossfire delivery, he's creating an angle that's very difficult, especially on lefties. Doesn't face many of those, but as we saw with Grichuk, just driving the ball inside on the fists of right-handed hitters.
So if I'm a hitter and I'm on the right side and he's set up like that, I'm not worrying about the outside pitch. And you can see Yachty is back off the plate. Look at how far off the plate Molina is. He's giving him the outside pitch. He wants a ball in. And he knows he can hit that ball right there out over the plate. So here's a good look. Watch how far his arm is when he goes to first, delivers that pitch. Look at that. Now, if you're on first, that delivery fools you, but watch how far Yachty goes to get it. That's a ball basically down the middle. He's so far off the plate, knowing he's not going to hit the outside corner. I'll give you the outside 6 inches. You won't hit it. If you do, I'll tip my cap. But don't come in.
One and 2 on Molina, who does not have a hit in his last 12 at bats.
That's a dirty hook right there. Whew.
Leadoff walk to Piscotty. Grichuk flat out to the center fielder, Revere. And now Molina awaits the 1-2 from Gio Gonzalez. He did not go around, says first base umpire Jeff Kellogg. Now 2-2.
See his approach. He knows if that ball's that far in, it's not going to be a strike. You got to get ready to hit, but because he's so far off the plate, he's already got it measured that he's not going to play in there. He's looking more out over the plate.
We saw Lobaton wanted the fastball, and Gio shook to the breaking ball.
Now last time 2-2, Piscotty got a bigger lead, and I really think he was kind of setting up for maybe 3-2, so I don't give the pitcher a sense of I'm getting a bigger lead now. That's 3-2, I'm going to run. So you get out there 2-2 knowing you're not running, and then 3-2 you get the same lead. Now you're bigger and you run 3-2.
Called strike 3, fourth strikeout for Gonzalez. Now 2 away.
See, he's looking dead away.
Difficulty of trying to cover both sides of the plate with 2 strikes.
Just tip your cap. What can you do?
Molina now 0 for his last 13. Here's Jed Jerko, Cardinals second baseman, batting .228. 2 for 6 with a home run lifetime against Gio Gonzalez.
He is getting in their kitchen, isn't he?
Getting around. Oh my God. It's just amazing that you get a leadoff walk and he has not moved. Not one pitch, not one hit and run, not anything. And it's kind of funny that this is the St. Louis Cardinals. You know, growing up, that runner is moving. He's on third by now, or at least hit and run or something. It's a different brand of baseball that the Cardinals play now than maybe, you know, in the team they had in the 80s and 90s.
Back on that pool table of a carpet.
Yeah.
Old Busch Stadium.
There goes Piscotty, the 1-2. High and away, throw down to second. Piscotty with his 3rd steal of the season.
And that's just a straight, I'm going, he's not going to come over, let me take off. And the biggest mistake Gio did was throw over to first base. Because once you throw over, you know you're not coming again. And he's off and running. He's still looking in to see. And the other part about it, with 2 outs, he gets thrown out. Now you start the inning, next inning, Jerko leading off.
Yeah, especially with a 1 and 2 count on the hitter. It's a great time. Just run first move. Get thrown out, get a fresh count, start next inning with Jerko.
Two to Jerko, full count.
Got the left-hander Garcia on deck. So Gio's got a couple ways to go after this guy. This is the guy you don't want him to beat you, followed by a left-hand hitter and the pitcher. So you don't want this inning to get away from you by giving Jerko something to hit here. And if he wants to swing bat, he's going to have to chase a pitch out of the zone for me.
Payoff pitch, and Jerko fouls it back.
You know, a lot of times we look at the box scores and we look at the walk, and there is a game being played. You know, right now, if he walked this guy, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I really wouldn't. And it might show up in the, oh man, he walked the guy. I don't know why, you know, but there's a reason behind it sometimes that you walk certain hitters. It doesn't have to be the big power hitting 4-hitter.
Jerko draws a 2-out walk. Second walk of the inning. So first and second for the Cardinals with 2 away. Well, it all starts here. The 2016 Major League Baseball draft coverage begins 6 Eastern, Thursday, June 9th on MLB Network and MLB MLB.com. Bryce Harper, the first overall pick back in 2010 by the Washington Nationals.
I'm going to be on that coverage. Jack Zarinzik joins us this year on that coverage as well, so it's going to be fun. Greg Hamsinger, Callis, Mayo got all their stuff. Tom, are you on that with us? Peter Gammons is there.
I didn't get an invite.
Oh, man.
Maybe it's in the
Dan
mail.
O'Dowd.
I'll check my mailbox later.
Yeah, check that out.
Here's Garcia, and he fouls it off down the left field line. So Garcia batting .615. He's 8 for 13, remains with the ball club. He was called up on Thursday when Carpenter went on the paternity list. But as Mike Matheny told us, he's playing so well, it's hard to send him back.
Well, they sent him back the first time when he was hitting .600. So he had to get his average up to .615, and now he's safe.
Tejada designated for assignment.
I just remember the game. Were we all three doing it in St. Louis last year? He hit that home run.
Oh, he's got some pop. Yeah.
Wow, dead center.
A big ballpark.
You doing that game, Kenny?
I was watching.
You were watching, okay.
I don't miss any of your work, Harold.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. Dead center. Couldn't believe he had that kind of power. See, this is the frustrating thing with Gio.
And you see the body language change, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the runners in scoring position average on Gio this year, 379. This has been the book on him in the past. You know, things are going good. You're in rhythm. Great. Once he gets in trouble, things start to slow down. Not quite as crisp.
But his stuff is so good. He just overthinks it. I mean, you got the perfect situation. You walk the guy to get to the man you want to. He's at the plate. You go after him.
28th pitch of the inning is a called strike. Now 2-2. You had to look at pitching coach Mike Maddox.
And Mike's done a great job. He's got a nice major league pitching career. Pitching coach career, I should say. This is what irritates you. I'm telling you. You saw him look up in the air after he got the ball back, and now we've been about 45 seconds to a minute before his next pitch.
Here it comes, the 2-2, and Garcia fouls it off.
He'll be the reason they put the pitch clock in. Serious.
It'll be a long time before we see that, H. One of those things, it sounds like a good idea, but never see the players going for that.
No.
Already 14 foul balls off Gonzalez, Harold. I know you've been counting each and every one of them.
Yeah. Great AB.
Into left field for a base hit. Here comes Piscotty. Throw to the plate is not in time, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead.
They'd have gone to third base with that throw. It would have been interesting. That's why with the when I saw it from up here.
I think Jerko was giving himself up to make sure the run scored, and the throw went all the way home where there was no play.
Because with 2 outs, here comes Maddox, and now he's going to have the conversation. But with 2 outs, the hitter's running on the crack of the bat, right? So you got Piscotty, who stole a bag. You know he can run. And Worth comes up throwing, but he's dead at third. Of course, he had the third baseman in for the cutoff position, so maybe not. Because the third baseman's now going to go in and get in position there. But if he hits Stephen Drew, maybe he is able to run back. But it's tough.
Yeah, you're right. Stephen Drew, not a whole lot of experience at third base. Really didn't sink into proper position for Worth. But still, that plays in front of you. And as I said, Jerko's running to give himself up to make sure the run does score. Watch Jerko. It'll be no hesitation here. The play's in front of him.
Saw him even look twice for the runner. Look at him again.
So Garcia now has the average up to 643. Now 9 for 14. He homered last night. He drives in the first run of the game today. First hit of the game for the Cardinals. And now Wainwright with a base hit into left field. It will roll all the way to the wall in left center. 1 run scores. Here comes Garcia. It is now a 3-0 St. Louis lead as Wainwright drives in 2.
Well, that's Wainwright's 8th RBI of the season. That's a career high for a season already, and we're only in May. But I'd go back to this whole inning of how Gio pitches this. Now, he jumps the first pitch, and he smoked it. And he knew it. And the beauty of this, it cut the outfield and was able to score Garcia from first. If they cut it off in the outfield, you're sitting second and third, only 1 run scores, but it split the outfield. He hit it so hard, they were able to pick up 2 runs.
So the 2 walks come back to haunt Gonzalez. The leadoff walk to Piscotty and the 2-out walk to Jerko. They both score. And Carpenter takes ball 1.
Yeah, I go back to Garcia fouling off the 2-strike breaking ball. And Gonzalez got off the breaking ball to throw him a fastball. Garcia won the at-bat by getting him off the 2-strike breaking ball. Then he gets a fastball, a 4-seamer up. He's been hot as a firecracker, stayed hot, dumps it in, and then a careless first pitch to Adam Wainwright. You know he's a good hitting pitcher. That is not an automatic out. Just not a real good sequencing there with runners on base.
Can't disagree with you.
Again, that's how you wind up with a 379 average with runners in scoring position.
You mentioned the 8 RBIs for Wainwright. How about earlier this season, first pitcher since 1900 with an extra base hit in 4 consecutive at-bats.
Start dropping numbers like 1900.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Think about how many guys have had at-bats. Chances to do that.
He hit 1 up in Big Mac land out there in Busch Stadium too, right?
Yes, he did.
Off Jeremy Hellickson. He has 7 career home runs. That's 4th among active pitchers. Helping his own cause, driving in 2 runs here in the top of the 2nd inning.
You think about a pitcher gets a at-bat, what, once every 5th day? It's really tough to be a good hitting pitcher. You just don't get the reps. Now the temptation for Matheny will be if he uses him as a pinch hitter or not, because that's happened. We've seen that with some good hitting pitchers, but might be a little leery with the Achilles heel to make sure I don't lose this guy on a swing.
Off the bat of Carpenter into right center. Wainwright scores easily. Safe at second is Carpenter, who drives in his 33rd run of the season. It's now 4-0 St. Louis.
Well, I think we've documented what's happened in this half inning pretty good to Gio. The rhythm, he got out of sync, started overthinking, and just really made some poor pitches in situations that he had guys set up to get out.
Yeah, the first inning, as we saw, 3 punch-outs in a row, sharp as attack. Good piece of hitting. That fastball, I'm sure Gio wanted down a little more.
Here's Diaz, who struck out his first time up. So a tale of 2 innings for Gio Gonzalez. Struck out the side in order in the first. Has allowed 4 runs on 3 hits and 2 walks here in the 2nd inning. 38th pitch of the inning from Gonzalez is a called strike. 0-2 on Diaz.
They can get away from you quick, right? I mean, it's a 2-out rally we're looking at.
Really all but 6 of those pitches have been thrown out of the stretch. Stressful inning.
All 4 of the runs scoring after the 2nd out was recorded. Cardinals lead the league in runs. They're 2nd in home runs, trailing only the Mets. They've had some big games. They've scored at least 9 times, most in all of baseball. But just a game over the 500 mark. Bounce to the third baseman, Drew. So the Cardinals send 8 batters to the plate in the second. They score 4 runs and lead 4-0. 4-0 lead for the Cardinals. Adam Wainwright drove in 2 of the 4 St. Louis runs. He also retired the Nationals in order in the first inning. Now facing Daniel Murphy, who leads all of baseball with a batting average of .393 in his first season with the Nationals.
He's been smoking. We always knew he could hit. We weren't expecting 400 possibility chasing it, but man, he's putting it all together right now.
Pops this one up, shallow right field. Coming on is Piscotty. Diving attempt.
That's how you hit 400. It is. You got to have a little luck along the way. Where were they playing him? My goodness. That ball's up there a long time.
Scotty must have called this ball very early because Jerko peeled off. Actually, not as early as I thought.
Neither one of them thought they were going to catch it. Well, the Jerko gave, I mean, Piscotty's what, 10 feet off the dirt? I mean, come on, man.
See Jerko, as soon as he hears the call, he'll peel off. He had it lined up in the glove, just didn't get in the web.
That ball's not a dive and play, though. Second baseman's got to get that. It's right under it.
First hit for the Nationals, so Murphy raises his average from .393 to .397.
Go.
Stay hot.
So Ryan Zimmerman 0 for 7 in the series, batting just .226. With Murphy on at first and nobody out, bottom of the second inning.
I swear I've watched Adam Wainwright pitch 3 times this season, and the defense behind him has been so sloppy. There's just that one pitcher, it seems like, they get sloppy behind. And that's where it's been for him right now. He needs to turn around and scream at somebody. Let's go!
But those same teammates have scored 45 runs for him over his last 6 starts.
Maybe that's why the defense has been sloppy. Yeah.
Well, you're probably noticing too, because Wainwright just doesn't strike people out the way that he used to. He's got the lowest strikeout per 9-inning rate in the league. The ball will be put in play against him.
2-1 to Zimmerman. Piscotty back on the track. He looks up and it's out of here. 7th home run of the season off the bat of Ryan Zimmerman. The Nationals cut the Cardinals lead in half.
Talking to Matt Holliday before during BP, and I said, the swing looks good, man. The ball's jumping. He goes, it's hot today.
It's warming up. No doubt. Ryan Zimmerman stands as far off the plate as anyone in baseball, and his ability to cover the pitch away with power is also very unique. Look how far off the plate he is. Yadi's setting up outside the zone. The sinker comes back slightly over the plate, but just the plate cover to that man, very impressive.
Stephen Drew takes a called strike, 0-1.
Ryan Zimmerman had a rough start of the year, and when Bryce Harper was getting walked a lot, he struggled, and he took a blunt for a lot of folks got on him hard. But he's a good hitter. He always has been, and he's going to hit. I mean, you check his track record. A lot of guys struggled in April, and now you're May heading into June. He'll get it going again.
Drew strikes out on 3 pitches. First strikeout for Wainwright.
There's no way I can hit that pitch.
There's that strikeout rate we were talking about.
I mean, with both those guys at the top not striking people out, your defense has got to catch the ball. And the infield has not done a nice job. They're not fleet of foot. They're not going to cover a lot of mistakes, and the ball's going to be in play a lot. And I've seen a lot of balls drop in the outfield. As a result, Cardinals are struggling.
Espinosa looking to bunt his way on. Now 2 away.
For you youngsters at home, what you're trying to do on that bunt, you're trying to shoot that at the second baseman. He just pulled it a little bit more than he wanted to. Perfect touch to it, but he pulled it to first base. You want to get it right past the pitcher, and then it becomes a foot race between you and that pitcher.
And he's done that before. He's generally good at that. When he notices that second baseman, because he does pull the ball, is playing especially deep. He hits it anywhere near at the second baseman, it's usually a hit.
Yeah.
As you said, though, he just took it with him a little too much.
So with 2 away, here's Lobaton. 2 runs in the inning for the Nationals. A leadoff single off the bat of Daniel Murphy. Diving attempt made by Piscotty. And then Ryan Zimmerman with a 2-run home run. His 7th of the season.
These are the little wars winning a baseball game. Number 8 hitter up with 2 outs, bases empty, pitcher on deck. Wainwright knows the calculus. He wants to start the next inning facing pitcher.
Well, that's the difference in that last half inning. You had 2 outs and you had Garcia at the plate, and he beat Gio, and the rest of the inning was over. Led to 4 runs.
A half inning which took 22 minutes. Gonzalez threw 40 pitches.
Ouch.
Four base runners reached after the second out was recorded. The 0-2 to Lobaton. Jerko had trouble with it, recovers, and Lobaton is retired. The Nationals on the board. 2-run shot from first baseman Ryan Zimmerman. 2 innings in the books here in Washington. 4-2 Cardinals. Matt Holliday leads off for the St. Louis Cardinals. Top of the 3rd inning. There's Ryan Zimmerman, who put the Nationals on the board in the last half inning with a 2-run shot. Holliday struck out his first time up, and he sends this one to deep left field. And the Cardinals extend to a 5-2 lead, 8th of the season, off the bat of Holliday.
You hear about veteran hitters and adjustments. He kept trying to pound Holliday, and he got him in the first at bat, made him look ugly on pitches inside. Then the first pitch and then the second pitch, he's looking inside the whole time, daring him to come back in there again. This time I will be ready, and he was. That's the adjustment you make from at bat to at bat. You get an idea how a guy's trying to get you out, and then you get him.
Now Piscotty, first pitch, bounces it right back to Gonzalez for out number 1.
Let's take a look at that home run right here. Watch where this pitch is at. Matt Holliday's looking nothing but inside, and he's going to turn immediately. Boom, see you later.
No secret on the book on Matt Holliday. Pound him in with fastballs. That one just didn't get in enough, and that's the price you pay when you miss. He's in the top 5 in all of baseball in percentage of fastballs seen. Well, you better be careful. The location better be good, and it wasn't.
Here's Grichuk fly to center his first time up, and he sends this one to deep left field. Back on the warning track. The catch is made by Revere for out number 2.
Wow. Thought that was gone too. So did Ben. Difference with that was a little bit of breaking ball, just missed the barrel. It was a good looking swing though.
"13 of the 18 runs scored in this series have come via the long ball. 10 of 11 over the first 2 games.
And I never looked at this place the home run park,
No.
did you?
I think you called it, though, Harold. It is getting warmer, very hot, humid today. The ball's definitely carrying.
You know, I always wonder, I shouldn't say worry, but think about, you know, the East Coast teams. They start off in such poor weather, and you see such terrible batting averages, and it's so easy to give up on players going, oh, he's not going to hit. And then the weather turns, and all of a sudden, here comes that guy that you were expecting to have a good year. Turn it around real quick.
You know who told me that years ago was David Ortiz. And of course, he was written off years ago, right, with a couple of slow starts.
Yeah.
And he said you can't judge, especially a left-handed hitter in Fenway Park in Boston. It's always cold, damp in April and May.
Molina retired. He's now 0 for his last 14. An 8-pitch inning for Gonzalez, but the leadoff man Holiday took him deep. 5-2 St. Louis. Back in Washington, bottom of the third inning, Kenny Albert, Harold Reynolds, Tom Verducci, with the Cardinals leading the Nationals 5-2, and Gio Gonzalez leading off for the Nats. Flies out to Holiday in left. We are joined by Max Scherzer from the Washington dugout. Max, first of all, thanks for joining us, and for the St. Louis audience, you grew up, of course, in Missouri. What are some of your favorite memories watching Cardinals baseball as a youngster?
Obviously watching Ozzie Smith. He was my favorite baseball player growing up, and then always going to the ballpark and eating nachos there. That was my favorite thing to do as a kid, going to the park.
So the nachos got the thumbs up at Busch?
Oh yeah, that cheese. Oh, I ate at least 3 nachos a game.
Now, how many tickets do you leave now when you go back home?
It's much easier now. The first time I went there, it was like 40 something. Now when I go back, it's only a handful. Just family now.
Max, you see the ball looks like it's jumping here today. Does it look like that to you downstairs at the heat or what?
I mean, that's just how it is in this park sometimes. When it's hot and humid, man, the ball really carries. And if you get backspin, it can go. And we've seen a couple bombs already tonight.
But when you're on, they're not hitting it. Hey, tell us about the 20 strikeout game, man. That was amazing.
Oh, I mean, it was just one of those games where I got locked in, and just from inning one, just went out there with good attitude, and just seemed to get in rhythm early, and was throwing a ton of sliders, and everything seemed to work. I was working ahead to count the whole game, and anytime I got in the position, was always able to collect that swing and miss.
All right, so Adam got 2 quick outs on us. He's trying to take away your conversation. I want to ask you this. I asked you this that night when you threw that. You want the no-hitter or a 20 strikeout game?
I don't know. They're both amazing in their own right. I mean, the no-hitter, I mean, that was pretty special, but so is 20 Ks. It's hard for me to pick.
All right.
Here's Jason Worth with 2 away. How have you enjoyed Max playing for manager Dusty Baker?
Oh, he's been great. He has great energy. Just understands all of us. Understands the baseball. I mean, he's been around forever. He played with Hank Aaron, so I mean, he knows so much about baseball, and you just can always get a great story out of him every single day.
You referenced Hank with us earlier today when we met with him. How often does his name come up?
Who?
Hank Aaron.
Oh, all the time. I mean, you're getting the story. And the thing is, like, the stories come from, he'll be talking about a story from the 70s, and all of a sudden he'll jump to the 90s. Then it's back to the 70s, and he'll get back to 2015, something that happened yesterday. So it's awesome getting a few stories out of him.
Don't worry, you'll be doing that in 20 and 30 years.
You're too young. Yes, you are. Hey, so tell us about this National League East, man. The clubs are pretty good.
Yeah, up and down. We're seeing a lot of good baseball. Obviously, we know the Mets and their pitching staff and what they can do at the plate as well. But don't sleep on what the Marlins can do and offensively and what they can pitch. And they got some young, exciting arms. And then obviously what the Phillies are doing this year. They're a team that probably everybody didn't expect to be at this level, but they're young and they're hungry and they're going out there and doing something about it. And it just makes for a really tough division. It just means every single night you got to go out there, you got to compete, you got to win, and you're going to get a major league effort from every single team in this division.
Did you see Adam Wainwright pull the pause right there, a little hesitation, and then deliver the pitch? You ever going to incorporate
see,
that?
I had to look at the camera. This is TV stuff.
Yeah. No, he's got it all working right now. He's starting to pause, the hesitation. This one's a quick one.
Yeah.
You ever do that?
I've never done that, but as a pitcher, I know when you're on, and you feel like you can execute any pitch. So we need to get to him quick before he can really get settled in.
Worth awaiting the 2-2 from Wainwright. So, Max, tell us about the catch you had with an 11-year-old Mets fan recently named Joe LaRocca. We're showing the video, and we are able to report that his dad did buy a Max Scherzer jersey for his son.
Awesome. That's awesome. You know, actually, I kind of did it a few other times on the road where, you know, you're out there, you know, just shagging and you know, kind of running out of things to do. And instead of giving a kid an autograph, you know, play catch with a couple kids before and just have them be in New York. And, you know, a kid had a glove. And I figure that's a better way to give a gift than an autograph is to play catch.
Well, it sounds like it made his life.
Yeah, I think he had a ton of fun doing that. So I guess I'm going to have to keep doing this.
No, that's pretty cool. I mean, it really is something that lasts for a lifetime. We got a shot at the kid holding up the baseball. But you know, the autographs sometimes fade, but that memory will never go away.
That's what it's about. Let's see if we can get a hanger. Come on. Dang it.
All right, inning comes to an end. Max, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max.
Max Scherzer, 17 days ago, 20 strikeouts against the Tigers, and he posed for a photo at the intersection of 20th and K in D.C. Bottom of the order for the Cardinals here in the fourth. But they got the job done back in the second inning when St. Louis scored 4 runs, all with 2 outs. Jerko drew a 2-out walk, came around to score. He leads off against Gonzalez here in the fourth. Jerko, Garcia, and then Wainwright. Now the 2-1. So how about Gio Gonzalez? He throws 40 pitches in the second inning. Only 8 in the third, but he did allow a home run.
Well, the 40-pitch inning, it was all about rhythm and tempo to me. He got the ball and was way overthinking. You can see even right now, get it and go. Trust your catcher. This is the guy who's caught you all year. You've had a great run together. Just trust him when you get into a little bit of a jam.
Yeah, 40 pitches in 1 inning, and forget the total pitch count number. That's an extreme number for 1 inning. That takes a toll. Another leadoff walk.
And the second walk drawn by Jerko. So here's Garcia, who singled in a run back in the second inning.
He had the biggest at bat of the game, because Gonzalez gets himself in the position to put him away with the breaking ball. He's going to get to a 2-strike count. There's a great fastball to get to a 2-strike count. Here's the breaking ball. He fouls it off, goes back to it. He goes back to the fastball up and gets beat. 2 outs, 8-hole hitter, pitcher on deck. You get to the curveball count against the lefty. And Gio has completely owned left-handers this year. And to me, Garcia won the at-bat with a foul ball. Fouling off the curveball to get Gonzalez off the curveball, gets a fastball up and cashes in. And the batting average now up to .643.
9 hits in 14 at-bats.
You know what I like, though, about Mike Matheny? Garcia played yesterday, had a good game, swung the bat. He didn't go, oh, left-hander, we're going to sit him down. No, he's hot. You ride it out. Let him play till he's not, or if he plays himself out of it. I love that. You know how many teams today, he's sitting on the bench. Doesn't matter. It's a lefty throwing. We're going with a right-handed batter. And he came up with the biggest hit of the inning, of the game so far for the Cardinals, really.
Now he's got it back to a 2-strike count. Well, let's see if Gio can bounce a curveball. That's the pitch that typically is his put-away pitch. So you basically want to throw it on home plate. Fastball in.
So Garcia is retired. 5th strikeout for Gonzalez.
Dave Wainwright.
5 extra base hits on the season. 8 runs batted in, 2-run double in the second inning tonight. And we mentioned earlier He became the first pitcher to record an extra base hit in 4 consecutive at-bats. Last time was August of 1901. So the pitcher who accomplished it back then, Snake Wiltsey of the Philadelphia A's. To put that in perspective,
I love all the names back then.
how about this? He was the Philadelphia A, which means it was Connie Mack's first season as manager when one of his pitchers came up with an extra base hit in 4 consecutive at-bats. That was the last time it was done until Wainwright this season.
And he was a snake.
If you're talking back when Connie Mack was a young man, that was a long time ago.
His first of 50 seasons as the manager of the Philadelphia Athletics, 1901 through 1950. And Wiltsey, his 4 extra base hits all came in 1 game against the Washington Senators.
It's funny, you're talking like you know it. And Wiltsey,
Good old Snake.
Listen to what old Snake
You
did
told me
back
you had
then.
his poster on your wall.
Oh, boy.
Here's the 2-1 to Wainwright with Jerko on the move, now 2-2.
I was just going to say they might hit and run, but because he hit the ball so well last time, I thought they might let him swing. But the way Adam was looking down there after the pitch he got knocked down on, I felt like they were going to try to move that runner, and they got to a perfect count, the 2-1, but Gio threw a ball in, and Adam was looking to shoot it to right field. But I like the play. You're not going to steal the bag, but you got to move it.
Full count.
And that's when you got a good hitting pitcher. It's one thing a guy's hit home runs. It's another thing you can put a hit and run on with your pitcher and have the confidence that he's going to put the ball in play or foul it off.
And right here, you might as well start the runner 3-2.
Yeah.
Knowing he's most likely going to find a way to put this ball in play.
Didn't start him.
Should have.
Yeah, I think they froze Jerko. He didn't get started.
So the Nationals turn 2. Still trail 5-2. Adam Wainwright getting set to face Bryce Harper, leading off for the Nationals here in the bottom of the 4th. Play ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. Harper grounded out to the second baseman Jerko his first time up, and he takes a called strike, 0-1. Harper now just 2 for 20 against Cardinals pitching this season, the reigning National League most valuable player.
We talked about at the top, one of the best curveball pitchers in baseball, one of the best curveball hitters in baseball. Bryce actually looks off speed, reacts to fastball, completely the opposite of the rest of Major League Baseball. Very hard to do.
Shoots this one into center field. Grichuk makes the play for out number 1. Time for a game break to Los Angeles and Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin.
Yeah, well, listen, I have no problem him throwing him out of the game. We saw last year in the World Series.
Here's Murphy down the right field line, the former New York Met. And the catch is made in foul territory by Piscotty for out number 2.
He didn't see that ball at all.
No.
So he just kind of had to stay with it. You can see him chasing that down, basically throwing his arms up. You can do that when the ball's going to be in foul territory and you're not thinking the base runner's looking at you to dig, but catch it now. He gets back over there. But earlier before that, he kind of thrown his hands out there.
Absolutely. Toughest time of night right now for outfielders. Twilight before that sky really gets dark. Tough to pick up a ball. But getting back to Syndergaard, the World Series. Remember the pitch to Alcides Escobar?
Yes. True. Started the game, right?
Absolutely. After Escobar was just crushing first pitches. Syndergaard basically said, not on my watch. I was at Citi Field last night, and the talk among the Mets was that there would be retribution on Utley. It probably would come in the last game of the year between the two teams, which is tomorrow, and that happened in the Texas-Toronto slugfest with Jose Bautista. But the word around the Mets was you never know what Noah will do. Wouldn't put it past him. So the umpire understood the history there.
Yeah, there doesn't have to be a warning.
No.
Just to throw a guy out.
And Ruben Tejada, the Met who suffered the broken leg on the slide from Chase Utley, designated for assignment earlier today by the St. Louis Cardinals. Zimmerman with a 2-out single into left.
That was Bryce after he flied out. He did get a curveball in that at bat. But I think what you're seeing right there is not just about one pitch, one at bat. It's about the last 3 or 4 weeks.
I've been there. Helmet can be your friend because it can save your hand from getting busted.
Two-out base runner Stephen Drew at the plate. Struck out his first time up.
You know, Bryce doesn't normally, almost never takes batting practice on the field. Pre-game routine takes place under the stands. Earlier this week, they brought him out here for early hitting, brought out the pitching machine, set it on left-handed curveballs just to make sure he kept that front side in longer. Because when he is going bad, he tends to jump a little bit and that front side will fly open.
Well, it's funny. We talk about this a lot, and Tom, I'm sure you're going to understand what I'm saying here because you followed him long enough. But it's interesting. His dad's in Greece. His parents are in Greece right now on vacation. And you have that one person. I don't care if it's your dad, your high school coach, your little league coach, somebody who has known you your whole life and known your swing. And you give them a call. You say, hey, you've been watching me? For me, it was Jack Riley. You know, I grew up with his son Mickey, and Jack was the baseball coach at Oregon State for a number of years. I would call him, be in a hotel somewhere, and close your eyes, get in your stance, and open my eyes and look in the mirror. Oh, okay, your hands are in the wrong. And we'd talk through things on the phone. He's in Oregon, and I'm in New York. You know, you always have that one guy.
That's a great point. Rick Shute does a great job with the Nationals, but you remind me of Keith Hernandez with the Mets. For him, it was his brother. You know, whether he's going good or bad, that one phone call after a game would really be the voice that he wanted to hear. Might be saying the same thing, but that source you trust.
It's just, you know, it's one of those things that comfort, and he's going to get it back. He's a worker. Guys work through these things. You're going to struggle, but the great ones figure out how to get through the struggles, and they don't last quite as long. So, you know, I go back to this at the beginning of the game. You know, when he was getting walked so much, the game is so mental. And when you have a I'm going to hit mentality and you're ready and they're throwing to you, it's the greatest thing ever. And when you're not sure how it's going or what pitch might be coming, it becomes very difficult. It's hard enough to hit.
You go back to April 25th. He had 9 home runs and had been walked only 10 times up until that point. Since that day, 3 home runs, 38 walks.
It's the greatest weapon in the game of baseball. That separates baseball from any other sport. Basketball, LeBron's going to get the ball next week in the NBA Finals. They're not going to keep the ball from him. He's going to get it. And hockey, somebody's going to get the puck. It's just going to happen. We'll see it in the Stanley Cup. But in baseball, you get to the plate, and you know what they can do? 4 pitches. You go ahead and take your base, Bryce. You're not hitting. And that's the difference in our game. Tom Brady's going to get the ball if he's not suspended. He's going to get the ball, you know, and that's the difference in baseball is you can take the ball away from the player and eliminate him and really take him out of a game.
He's getting the elite treatment, and that's what Rick Hsu said. He's in between, not knowing when they're actually going after him, and sometimes accepting that pitching around him when they're actually not.
And when we spoke to his manager, Dusty Baker, who, of course, had Barry Bonds in San Francisco, Dusty told us Bonds did not get this treatment until he was around 32 years old. Harper's not yet 24.
Yeah. It's an amazing learning curve. And I said this early on. This will be the best lesson he's going to go through, because once he figures out how to master this, look out.
Strike 3 called. So Drew caught looking for the second time. Nationals strand a runner through 4 from Nats Park. 5-2 Cardinals. Back in Washington, top of the 5th inning as Matt Carpenter leads off for the Cardinals. Takes a called strike from Gio Gonzalez. Carpenter struck out in the first, double did a run in the second. In his return after missing the last 3 games. Activated off the paternity list earlier today. Top of the order, Carpenter, Diaz, and Holiday for St. Louis here in the 5th.
You know, Tom, the Cardinals are an interesting team because they've got tremendous offensive numbers, and you wouldn't think it looks like a struggle for them.
Well, it struggled because of starting pitching. Wainwright looks like he's getting back on track, but Michael Wacha, Carlos Martinez, they've been leaking oil this month.
Carpenter strikes out for the second time tonight. 6th strikeout for Gonzalez.
Uncomfortable at bat, that breaking ball working away from Carpenter, who's a great 2-strike hitter.
And I like the fact the umpire asked the third base ump. You know, we talk about this often, but it's so hard, I think, to track the ball and see if a guy swung. Just ask. No argument once you do that.
Diaz 0 for 2, struck out and grounded to third.
When Gio throws a breaking ball like that, he's unhittable.
Yeah, I think he's gotten back to a better pace here. This is something that Mike Maddox has worked with him on.
Espinosa moving to his left, fires across for out number 2.
Now, the biggest bugaboo in his career is throwing strikes, not enough of them, and that's what Maddox has really concentrated on. He made some changes in Gonzalez's delivery in spring training, especially, you'll see here, go back to last year. Look, he still hasn't picked up the target. And look at the shoulders where he's almost squared completely to home plate. Now, only now does he pick up the target. This year, watch how soon he picks up the target. He hasn't even lifted his leg yet. And the other thing is when he gets the knee up, not nearly as turned towards the outfield or back towards the hitter as he was last year.
Well, I like
it's
that.
all about picking up the target earlier and not having such a long twist or turn, because it's harder to repeat your delivery when you turn your back to the hitter. Well, how's it worked out? Well, he's thrown a career high percentage of first pitch strikes. You wouldn't know it today, but he has cut his walk rate in half. Wobbly there in the second inning especially, but better this inning.
I like that. That's like a hitter. You know, a lot of times you don't have your head turned enough. So you turn your head, so now you really got both eyes on the pitcher, able to pick up the ball a little bit better. Tom dropped the nugget on us. Woo. That's some good stuff, man.
Well, Harold, you know, with this guy, Gio, the stuff, there's never been anything wrong with it. You know, the breaking ball, the fastball, we've seen the run on that. The whole thing is being able to execute consistently. And I think Mike Maddox has got him in a position where he can do that more consistently.
Two-time All-Star, 21-game winner back in 2012.
The one thing I like, too, he didn't take away his windup. I see so many guys that are doing that little half-step windup now. It's almost for the hitter like batting practice to me.
You do lose a lot of deception.
Holiday draws a 2-out walk. 4th walk issued by Gonzalez tonight.
Apparently Gio remembered that adjustment Holiday made on the inside fastballs because he went to the 3-2 breaking ball.
Sure did.
Here's Piscotty. Walked and scored in the 2nd. Bounced back to Gonzalez in the 3rd inning.
I really like this young hitter. You know, the top guys we talked about, how well he's hit with runners on base, runners in scoring position. To me, he does that because the barrel's in the zone so long. His swing actually reminds me the most of Buster Posey. Finishes low at the hands, 2 hands on the bat, but the barrel with power through the zone for a long time.
And there's a base hit into right field off the bat of Piscotty. Moving to 2nd is Holiday.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, he's going to be a guy who's going to use the entire field, hit for power when you make a mistake, take what you give him. The head stays on the ball so long. See, that bat's in the zone a long time, to the baseball and extend through the baseball.
Yeah, he's come out of nowhere. Not a lot of people outside of the Cardinal organization, maybe at Stanford University, he didn't do this. You didn't see that coming even at Stanford.
No, I mean, he caught a lot of attention last year for sure. And I asked Mike Matheny, what's the difference this year? He's even better, and he played well last year. He said he's stronger. You know, that grand slam he hit last night off the slider from Scherzer, another case where he just stayed on the baseball for a long time and hit it out of the park.
Piscotty, the Cardinals minor league player of the year last season, played in 63 games with St. Louis. So 1st and 2nd with 2 away for Grichuk. Flied out twice to the center fielder Revere. First pitch fouled off back behind 3rd.
Now, Harold, this is where I start to think about those 40 pitches he threw in the 2nd inning. You're back in the stretch, runner in scoring position. You're getting close to 100 pitches. You know, can you now execute a pitch to just shut it down right here?
Well, we often talk about, can a guy put guys away, and 2 outs tells you a lot too. Those big 2-out rallies they've had in this game, hadn't been able to end the inning.
Even in this inning, he retired the first 2 and has allowed a pair of 2-out base runners.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing I've been looking for, and he hasn't done it tonight, but well, now he's in an 0-2 count, but inevitably 0-2, he ends up 3-2 most of the time. It hasn't happened tonight, but I've kept looking for that. I love Gio. He's got great stuff.
Good idea right there. Lobaton and Gonzalez thinking 0-2. Let's show him fastball up. Try to get him in chase mode. He's thrown 2 really good curveballs to Grichuk. Let's see if he goes back there.
A 1-2 from Gonzalez, missing high and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, those are 2 wasted pitches. You know, you want the fastballs up, but those 2 pitches are balls as soon as they leave his hand. You're just too far out of the zone to get the chase swing. And now you've just handed the hitter a neutral count when you had control of the count. And another conversation. This is what happens. You put guys on base, he becomes a different pitcher.
Grichuk with a base hit into left center. Coming in to score is Holiday. And at second is Grichuk. The Cardinals now lead 6-2. Another 2-out run scored by St. Louis.
I'm saying because Werth's got to come up going to second with that ball. You can always redirect if they decide to go home. But he just flipped it back into the shortstop, and Grichuk followed into the backside. Now you got 2 runners in scoring position. If he comes up and throws this to second base, the second baseman can always field it at the bag and redirect to home if that runner decides to go. But he throws it back here. By the time the shortstop gets it and throws it back, he's sliding in. If he throws to second, Grichuk sees the throw and goes back to first base, just sitting first and third.
And the answer to the question whether Gonzalez could execute one more pitch to get himself out was no. Curveball, mistake, left up.
Here comes Blake Treinen from the Washington pen. '27-year-old right-hander Blake Treinen out of the Nationals bullpen with the Cardinals leading 6-2. Treinen's 23rd appearance of the season on in relief of Gio Gonzalez. Yadier Molina at the plate. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. Molina 0 for 2 today, 0 for his last 14 overall. And with Treinen looking to close out the inning, Nationals relievers have not allowed an inherited runner to score in quite some time. During the last 22 inherited runners, none have scored.
Kenny, I think that's a stat that gets overlooked. We always look at ERA.
That streak continues. 6-2 Cardinals. On a beautiful Saturday evening in our nation's capital from Nationals Park, Kenny Albert, Harold Reynolds, Tom Verducci, Adam Wainwright in the 298th appearance of his big league career, looking for his 5th win of the season. Pitching with a 6-2 lead. Facing the bottom of the Nationals order, Danny Espinosa leading off. Attempted to bunt his way on back in the 2nd inning and grounded out for the first baseman Carpenter.
Well, to me, Kenny, the top of that inning was the major difference between the Nationals of Dusty Baker and the Nationals of Matt Williams. Dusty Baker will allow his starting pitchers to work out of their own jams. You know, you could see that inning unfolding based on the 40 pitches Gonzalez threw in the 2nd inning, based on the fact that he was really struggling with runners on base and scoring position. He was headed into trouble. But Dusty Baker had confidence in Gonzalez, even despite those factors, to get himself one more out. And that's why the players love him. You know, it may cost you a run. It may cost you a game. It gained you a player. There's no question that National starting pitchers have more rope this year. Dusty has said that himself. I don't know why I do some stuff sometimes. Sometimes I go by numbers. Sometimes I go on what I feel. And sometimes I go on what I hope. And that's a lot of what he picked up from Tommy Lasorda, the Dodgers manager. Confidence in players. As Dusty said, when he was scuffling, Tommy Lasorda stuck with him and he never forgot it. You hear that term, Harold, players manager? It's a cliche, right? What does it really mean? We just saw it last inning.
Yeah, the game's about the players, and I love the point, Tommy, you're saying about a players manager. We always think that means, oh, he's a nice guy, you can go in his office and talk to him anytime. No, that means that's the guy that's going to stick with you and let you play when you're struggling and play through it.
Espinosa down on strikes. 4th strikeout for Wainwright.
Great sign here for the Cardinals. Adam Wainwright is starting to get it going on. His last 3 games now really in a row, and I know he gave up that home run early in the game to Zimmerman, but since then not much, and even before that. But he looks like Adam Wainwright. He's controlling the tempo of the game, the confidence, not many balls squared up. And when Adam Wainwright gets it going and says, I'm the big dog leading the house and the whole team, there's a different chemistry and aura around this club. Because it's hard to lead when you're not performing well. It just is. Now he's beyond the injury, and he's getting back to focusing on winning another title. And that's what Adam Wainwright brings to this club. Look at those numbers right there. The last 6, to me, are the difference maker. And they're going to get better. As Tom, you pointed out earlier, it's how far he's removed from that injury.
Exactly, and he knows too that Michael Wacha is scuffling right now, Carlos Martinez as well. This is a guy who wants to be and is the ace in every way.
Left field off the bat of Lobaton. Catch is made by Holiday for out number 2, and now Chris Heisey will pinch hit for Blake Trinan, who faced one batter in the last half inning. Heisey with 3 pinch hit home runs this season. He is the active leader in Major League Baseball with 14 career pinch hit home runs.
Tough thing to do. Pinch hit, period. Let alone hit home runs. He's a valuable guy.
Spent 5 seasons in Cincinnati, last year with the Dodgers.
And that right there is why he has success. You come off the bench swinging. You can't sit around waiting for a pitch to hit. You end up hitting a pitcher's pitch and you got no chance. You gotta be the aggressor. Take it to him.
Well, I'll tell you, these last 3 innings, I have not seen Adam Wainwright leave the pitching rubber by more than an inch or 2. It's go time right now. He's feeling it.
You know, the last point on that with Wainwright for me, Tom, is it's hard to lead and tell Wacha or Martinez or guys how you get it done when you're getting lit up yourself. That's why it's important for Wainwright to get it going, and he's done that. And now he's able to even garnish a little bit more. He's not a guy who needs it.
Deep left center off the bat of Heisey to the warning track. The catch is made by Grichuk. So Wainwright has now retired 12 of 13 since the Zimmerman home run in the second. Jefferson Memorial on a Saturday night in Washington, Memorial Day weekend. As we move to the 6th, Nationals and Cardinals have split the first 2 of this series. Third pitcher of the night for the Nationals, the 34-year-old left-hander Oliver Perez. 20th appearance for the Nationals, pitching for his 7th Major League club. Jerko leads off. He has walked twice. Came around to score back in the second inning.
You ever have like a wool sweater that's like really itchy, you never really get comfortable? I always think of that with Oliver Perez, the way he pitches. he throws so many different looks at you. He's got turns, he's got leg kicks.
It frees.
It's like he's not comfortable. Like, man, I'm itchy. I gotta just keep moving.
He has really done a terrific job of reinventing himself.
Really extended his career.
Yes.
The guy who looked like he was done was in the minor leagues a few years ago.
Now in his 14th Major League season.
I mean, he was flamed out in New York, right? He was done.
Yeah, I remember seeing him in Double-A in Harrisburg with the Nationals organization. Bryce Harper was his teammate down there. And I think going to this deceptive delivery, no 2 pitches, no 2 looks the same, has really helped him.
Yeah, for some crazy reason, it's helped him concentrate and throw strikes. That was the bugaboo. He couldn't throw strikes. Tried everything. And all of a sudden he does a whirly bird and bam, threw a strike.
Look at this. He's got the glove in a weird spot. He's got his foot all the way turned in. You see pitchers do that, especially with runners on base. But and there's that slider.
That's dirty. Mercy.
Sliders and fastballs, that's what he throws. That's almost slurvy with the big break on that slider.
Now watch what he does to this left-hander. He'll freeze, he'll hesitate. It gives you different looks and different pitches. Fun to watch.
Garcia 1 for 2, drove in a run back in the second inning.
You tell me you want to stand in there on that?
He turned around like he checked with every fielder. You guys ready? I'm about to throw. Before I go forward, you okay? Good, let's go.
Does he remind you of anyone you faced, Harold?
You know, the thing that comes to mind, the first thing is John Candelaria. He didn't spin around like that, but he hit the ball that way.
The Candy Man.
The Candy Man can. Bringing it.
Left-handed hitter's nightmare, huh? The Candy Man.
Man.
Center field, Revere will not get to it.
See ya, man.
Wow. Another base hit for Greg Garcia. 2 for 3 tonight. Now 10 for 16 on the season as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Kevin Burkhardt. All right, Kevin and Tom, you were there last night. He had a big hit in last night's game as well.
Tied up the game, bases loaded, 9th inning triple. How about this guy, speaking of extra base hits? This is Mr. Extra Base Hit, Adam Wainwright. Splits the gap, he hit that one so hard. Looking for another RBI right here.
We talked about the run support Wainwright has received over his last 6 starts, helping his own cause by driving in 2 back in the second inning tonight.
Still thinking about Chase Utley. He's got to be the most hated player by the Met fans, right?
No doubt.
I mean, he's.
Well, they didn't like him when he was a Philly.
Yeah.
They really hate him now. And last night, you didn't have to hear his name announced. You knew who was coming to the plate with the reception every time he came up.
Back in the day, it was Chipper Jones. Remember, the fans would chant Larry, his given name, and then he wound up naming one of his kids Shea.
Yeah.
After Shea Stadium. Well, Chase Utley named his son City.
Telling you. Oh my goodness. It's been an interesting couple weeks. Odor punch, Syndergaard behind Utley. What happened the other day? There was retaliation. I can't even think of what game that was.
No, there was an issue with Josh Donaldson and the Minnesota Twins.
Yep.
He didn't like the fact that he didn't run a ground ball out hard. The other team took it upon themselves. So they threw at him. Phil Hughes, who has great control.
Well, at least they're having fun, right? We're going to make baseball fun.
You know what they say, Harold? It's all fun until somebody gets hurt.
Yep.
That's what Josh Donaldson was telling me. Hey, we protect middle infielders. We protect catchers. What about hitters? Hitting 97 in the ribs on purpose.
Nothing in 2 on Carpenter, who doubled in a run in the second and has struck out twice. Well, the 86 Mets are on hand, honored tonight at Citi Field, and they were certainly involved in their share of altercations 30 years ago, and you were there for many of them, Tom.
Oh, I'm telling you, that team was so much fun. They just didn't want to beat you. They wanted to take over your town. They wanted to fight you. One of the best comeback teams, though, in baseball history.
Harper makes the catch to end the inning. And he will bat third for the Nationals when we come back. Adam Wainwright pitching with a 6-2 lead. He's retired 12 of the last 13 Nationals he has faced. Then Revere takes a called strike. Revere has grounded out twice.
They got to do something to get Wainwright out of his windup. He has been in some kind of a rhythm. Just great groove, putting the ball. If he's missing, it's barely missing. He's not missing all over the place.
Nationals have had only 3 base runners the entire game as Revere rounds out to the second baseman Jerko for out number 1.
Carpenter came off the base a little quick on that one when they throw it around. It's almost like he's turned to pivot.
Well, that cutter two-seam combination he has now is just lights out. You know, that 4-seam fastball, rarely throws it anymore. It's basically become a show pitch when he just wants to change elevation, but the cutter and the two-seam look like they're coming down the same tunnel and then veer different directions.
Here's Jason Worth 0 for 2 tonight, just 5 for 29 lifetime against Adam Wainwright.
That's the problem when you have such a good curveball. A lot of times it's tough to get that call to strike. I'm imagining it was called high by Mark Carlson.
Held off to the right side, 1-1.
That's what I like about Adam Wainwright, though. He knew it was a strike. He wanted it. Right back to the next pitch. Miss.
Yeah, that was
a miss.
Tried backdoor two-seam that one. And backdoor that two-seam. He'll run it in on you front door. And he'll cut the ball the other way.
It's got to be fun right now. Everything he throws, he's pinpoint control.
Cutter.
Backs one up.
Here's the two-seamer. He's trying to catch the outside of the plate. Hitter gives up on it. Just missed it. And that wasn't his best cutter. That backed up on him. But I'll tell you, those backup breaking balls and cutters just freeze right-handed hitters. Even up in the zone, you don't expect to see it there.
See the spin.
Worth reaches out and grounds out to the shortstop. Diaz now 2 away.
Well, I'll tell you what, earlier in the week, you got a chance to see Bryce Harper. When you're struggling, you try anything, right? He had the batting gloves in this particular game on Thursday night. Swings through it, misses it. Then he comes back with no batting gloves. Later in the game, hits a home run. So, yeah, let me go ahead and go without the batting gloves, right? No, 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 no. Under Armour don't want you cutting the gloves up and not wearing them. Good results, but hold it. They're paying him too big of money, right?
Did you see him cut his batting gloves, by the way?
Yeah.
His batting gloves ripped. Anybody else would throw it in trash can, right? No, he cuts them up so that somebody else doesn't fish them out of the trash can and put them on eBay tomorrow. True story.
I believe it.
You know you're good when your trash is valuable.
I remember when I played with Griffey, Ken Griffey Jr. for 4 years. And same thing with Cal Ripken, but particularly Griffey. We get to the next city, and he'd be missing 6, 7 bats. The guys who packed it from one city to the next go through the bat bag and pull out all Griffey's bats. And he missed uniforms. I mean, it was unbelievable. He had to finally get a chest built with 24 on it and padlocked it down so he would have gear when we got to the next city.
So how much did you sell it for?
Well, I made a good living. I made a good living. I lived good when I was playing with him. To mention, sign a card for me, will you? Sell that too.
I remember that bat case. Custom made. That thing was like Fort Knox.
Unbelievable.
Deep center field off the bat of Harper. What will that ball go for on eBay? Solo shot, his 13th of the season.
He torques that. That's a perfect swing right there. When you can drive a ball as a hitter to dead center on the line and goes out of the ballpark, that's the perfect swing you're looking for.
And he did it with the batting gloves.
Yes.
Wainwright had retired 14 of the last 15 batters he had faced. Fourth hit of the game for the Nationals. Their second home run, so it's now a 6-3 game. Daniel Murphy 1 for 2. He singled back in the second inning. Remember, Piscotty made a diving attempt, unable to make the catch. And then his next time up, he fouled out to Piscotty, who it looked like did not see the ball until the last instant.
He's throwing that little Murphy's Law on the ball right now, right?
For Harper, his second home run of this series, has only one other hit against the Cardinals this season in 22 at-bats. Now 2-2 on Murphy.
Now, Harper is just such an amazing hitter to me. As I said, he hits off speed and reacts to velocity. That's how much confidence he has in adjusting and still not getting beat by velocity, as he did right there. It's just an amazing approach. His theory is, if you can execute 3 fastballs in on my hands and 1 at bat, I'm going to tip my helmet to you and go back to the dugout. I'm not going to try to defend that. But knowing that he sees so many breaking balls, he can sit breaking balls and react to velocity. Now, obviously, Wainwright's not a guy who's going to rush it up there at 96, 97. So that makes it even more likely that he can react to velocity as he did on the home run.
Grichuk in center. Murphy retired. Inning comes to an end. Bryce Harper with a solo shot off Adam Wainwright, his 13th of the season. To center field, cutting the Cardinals' lead to 6-3 through 6 in Washington. 6th inning. And now we move to the 7th. 4th pitcher of the game for the Nationals, making his 13th appearance of the season, the 31-year-old right-hander Yusmeiro Petit. Won a World Series with the Giants back in 2014. He will face Diaz, Holiday, and Piscotty here in the 7th, with the Cardinals leading 6-3. St. Louis scored 5 in the 3rd last night off Max Scherzer. 4 in the 2nd inning tonight against Gio Gonzalez.
I think Petit is such a difference maker. He was so good with the Giants, and he may not have factored into a lot of things for Washington yet, but before the year is over, he can bridge so many things for a ball club and keep you in games. He's just a valuable guy to have on your staff, because he can start, he can be long, he can set up, he can close.
Remember, at one point with San Francisco, he set a major league record. He retired 46 consecutive batters.
Amazing. I was shocked he wasn't back with the Giants.
Pay no attention to that radar gun. This is the epitome of deception because of his release point. The way that he throws is so unique. 89 looks like 99.
Diaz strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. He's now 0 for 4.
Well, we talked about the 86 Mets. Sid Fernandez was a guy who threw like this. You'll watch, his arm really doesn't get far away. His hand doesn't get far away from his head when he throws. Short arm delivery. The ball is near his head rather than the arm being extended out away from the body. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Now there it is. A hitter just sees it so late because he hides it so well. It's a very unusual release point.
0-1 on Holiday, who homered in the 3rd, walked, came around to score in the 5th.
Makes me think that he had to have been a catcher at some point in his life. You know, the catchers have that throw off your ear down to second base. He short arms the ball.
I mean, we're seeing swings and misses off 89, 90, and the ball's by him.
Holiday with a base hit into center field, his second hit of the game. One out base runner for the Cardinals. Next Saturday, MLB returns, starting with a game you can only see on FS1 as the Rays take on the Twins at 3:30 Eastern. Then baseball night in America, Giants and the Cardinals. Yankees, Orioles, Royals, Indians, all beginning 7 Eastern on your local Fox station, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Tom, you referenced those 86 Mets a couple of times, and one of the key members of that squad is Ray Knight, who's the post-game analyst on Nationals television, and he headed back to New York for the festivities this weekend. He was on the Nationals post-game show last night, talking about how this is really his first game back, first time back to New York to celebrate with his teammates from that championship squad in 1986. And he was involved in one of those altercations we mentioned earlier with Eric Davis.
Eric Davis right at third base. Very unusual to see a clean punch land in baseball. Of course, Odor did that to Batista. And that was the only other one I could remember. Ray Knight, Eric Davis.
Scotty pops out to the center fielder Revere.
So they all made it back. Lenny Dykstra's back.
He is.
Right? It's amazing.
By the way, a pinch runner for Matt Holliday, Jeremy Hazelbaker, as Grichuk steps in with 2 away. Doc Gooden, Darryl Strawberry on hand.
Great.
Davey Johnson, who of course managed here in Washington.
Who was the better team? Were the Red Sox or the Mets better? I know it came down to that kickball and everything else, but which club do you think was better?
I truly believe the Mets were the better team because of one big difference: the bullpen. I remember those 86 Mets saying before the series, if we make these games bullpen games, we win. And that's exactly what they did.
Ron Darling, member of that pitching staff, who's the color analyst for the Mets. He was the original television color analyst for the Nationals. After they moved from Montreal back in 2005, he worked the games with Mel Proctor, first Nationals TV broadcast team.
Yes. Wow. He does the Met games now. SNY.
Along with Keith Hernandez. Hazelbaker on the move. And Grichuk fouls it off to the right side. 0-2.
Now, by the way, I like the move by Mike Matheny to run for Matt Holliday. And what he's telling you is, I have enough runs to win this game. I'm going to play my defense. You know, Holliday's got a home run already, 2 hits. 7th inning, his spot could come around again in the 9th inning. But he's not going to gamble one more AB for Matt Holliday and compromise his defense. He wants his best team on the field for the last 3 innings, not just the last inning. And I like that move.
And here's how you get your offense going, too. We watched it 1 and 2 earlier with 2 outs. He sent the runner right there. 0 and 2, 2 outs. He sends the runner because Grichuk's in a bad spot. He's not swinging the bat great. I want to get him in a good count again if he gets thrown out. If not, then battle and maybe we'll get a base hit. I think he runs right here 1 and 2.
There he goes. And Grichuk strikes out to end the inning. 7th inning stretch time in Washington. 6-3 St. Louis. Our game summary brought to you by Budweiser. Wainwright getting the job done on the mound and at the plate. Matt Holliday with a home run back in the 3rd inning. His first against a left-handed pitcher since last July in 67 at-bats. Bryce Harper went deep for the Nationals in the 6th. This is Ryan Zimmerman, who hit one out in the 2nd. He does it again. His second home run of the game, pulling the Nationals to within 2.
He's had 3 good swings tonight off Adam Wainwright.
Well, that was a great swing. That's a great example when you get a changeup to keep your hands back and just sink into your legs to buy yourself some time before the hands come around. That was just beautiful piece of hitting right there.
Zimmerman now with 8 home runs this season. It's his second 2-home-run game. He did it against the Tigers back on May 10th. Third home run of the game for the Nationals. Wainwright had allowed only 5 over his first 10 starts this season. And now a base hit to left field off the bat of Stephen Drew. There's Hazel Baker, who remains in the game in left field, replacing Matt Holliday.
The changeup is designed to disrupt the timing and get the hitter out front. Watch him sink into his legs. Keep yourself back. Don't let the body drift forward. And that is one strong man.
This is a good timeout right here.
Well, they got him out of the windup. Got him into the stretch, Harold.
Yes, they sure did. But I think this is a good timeout. Clearly, 2 balls hit hard. The bullpen's not ready. This is a twofold thing they're doing here. You're allowing that pin to get a little rest, and you're also letting Adam regroup.
The 3 home runs allowed by Wainwright matches his career high for one game. It's Kevin Segras, the left-hander in the Cardinals pen. It's the 6th time Wainwright has allowed 3 long balls in one game. Zimmerman with 2, Harper with the other.
You're gonna get him. You got to get him quick before Segras gets ready.
So with a runner on at first, here's Danny Espinosa, who went deep in each of the first 2 games of this series and has 4 home runs against the St. Louis Cardinals this season. 4 of the 5 he's hit. Zimmerman had never taken Wainwright deep coming into this game. He was 7 for 29, 241 average. 3 hits today, 2 home runs.
The pitch you have to watch here is the cutter. Espinosa, especially from the left side, loves that cutter. See him with the open stance. More susceptible to curveballs than cutters.
You can see the Nationals a little bit more into it. More guys wandering around near that batting by the bats down towards the bat rack and getting ready to hit. A lot more activity.
Isn't it amazing the way hitters can smell when a pitcher becomes vulnerable? Just a different vibe.
"21 runs scored in this series, 15 via the home run." Wow. The 1-1 to Espinosa, now 1-2.
Take a shot. That was the take a shot right there to tie the ball game swing.
Yeah, it's 2-seamer and comes back over the hands of Espinosa. Beautiful pitch. Now he's got to go to work. Uncle Charlie. See if he bounces this one. By the way, you think this guy's got a good curveball? You know what his Twitter handle is? Adam Wainwright? Uncle Charlie 50.
I thought you were not on Twitter, Tom.
I'm not, but that was a rumor I heard. Proud of that pitch, and why not?
Did you let us in on a secret?
You still follow, right?
Yeah, I do.
Troll, follow a little.
No, I don't troll. Almost. Yeah, you know, he went back to that two-seamer, same exact spot, and he has stayed away from the cutter throughout this sequence.
What was Snake Wiltsey's Twitter handle?
Can you imagine if Babe Ruth had a Twitter account? Oh my goodness.
Be like Kanye. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's got over $3 million.
Jose Bautista's got $1 million.
Espinosa down on strikes.
That was a nice sequence right there. You know, Adam Wainwright was looking for a strikeout there, not necessarily a ground ball double play. And he comes back right here with a better hook than the one he missed on 1 and 2.
Great point. I think these guys haven't worked well together before. Molina and Wainwright pitching right to the scouting report. Espinosa's weakness is the curveball. Strength is the cutter. No cutters in that sequence.
Here comes Wilson Ramos to pinch hit for Lobaton.
He's going for the pinch hitter anyway. I think he was hoping that he was going to get the left-hander to come in out of the bullpen and be able to make that switch with Ramos, but I guess he's going to get it. I mean, look at the numbers. He's having a pretty good year.
Ramos 1 for 3 lifetime against Wainwright.
Ramos, a lot like Zimmerman, stands far off the plate, loves to take the outside pitch to right center.
See him pound his, that's the one he's looking for. Something outside, he got it, but it wasn't what he was hoping for in being a fastball. It was a breaking ball away, but it was in the location he wanted. He just didn't pull the trigger.
I agree with you. I think Ramos here was looking either sinker or cutter away. That was obviously the curveball, just a good take. No reason to chase it.
A 1-1. Now 2 balls, 1 strike.
Here's the cat and mouse. I love it. You saw him tip his hand by slapping his feet with the bat like, oh, I missed the pitch I was looking for, and they came right back inside. Oh, you're looking out? We're going to break his bat right here. And they just missed getting him swinging and would have just chopped that bat in half had he swung.
Diaz to second. On to Carpenter, double play. Cardinals lead the National League in turning 2. The 6-4-3. The Zimmerman a leadoff home run, and then Wainwright and the Cardinals get out of the inning.
I've been looking at the stars tonight.
As we move to the 8th, Wilson Ramos remains in the game behind the plate for Washington. Yadier Molina fouls off the first pitch from Petit down the right field line. Molina 0 for 3 tonight, now 0 for his last 15. Nationals have chipped away. Cardinals had a 6-2 lead. Home runs from Harper in the 6th, Zimmerman in the 7th, his second of the game. Have cut this to a 2-run deficit for Washington. Starter Gio Gonzalez did not make it through 5 innings, lasted 4 2/3, allowed 6 runs on 6 hits, 5 of the 6 Cardinal runs coming with 2 outs. The 2-1 to Molina, foul back to the screen, now 2-2.
Well, you mentioned Petit, Harold, and how important he is, and it's a big role right here, keeping the score where it is, give your team a chance to come back. Dusty Baker took a shot with Ramos looking for that home run ball. The way the ball's flying tonight, was it a bad idea?
On one hop, deflects away from Drew. So Molina on at first.
This is when you look up at the official score and go, hold it, timeout. I've been 0 for about, what, how many? Kenny, you've been documented.
Yeah, it was 15 up until this at bat.
I want a knock on this. He's going to get it, too.
Yeah, it's got to be a base hit.
It is. So that ends the 0 for 15 stretch for Yadier Molina.
Kind of surprised Colton Wong didn't get in this game right here.
Still may be a shot for him here.
Right field, Harper's got it off the bat of Jerko. Grip the Moment, sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball.
Well, I just go back to how Adam Wainwright hits to the situation. He gets a strike out there, and then he's looking for the breaking ball, the double play ball. He gets it. First he tried it with the fastball in, then he got a little breaking ball to get him out in front. He knew exactly what he was doing to navigate through that jam. Let me get a strikeout on a guy that I know I can't double up, and then I got the guy I can double up to get me out of the inning. I thought it was brilliant.
Here's Garcia, 2 for 3 today. Now batting .625, lays down the bunt. No throw. Third hit of the game for Garcia.
Great play. Great play. Especially after a guy gets a bullet hit at him. The next ball he's got to handle is this bunt. But Stephen Drew is not a third baseman by nature, but look where he's playing. He's so far back. If you look around, you're done. You're done. As soon as he put that down, that is a knock. And this is part of his game. We just watched him hit a ball 402 feet, one hop off the wall last at bat. Then he drop a beautiful bunt.
Oh, and he can fly, too, taking advantage of Stephen Drew. Not a lot of experience over there. We saw it earlier where Worth took a peek to see if it was in order, didn't take advantage of it. Garcia said, thank you very much.
And he is now batting .647, 11 for 17. That will be all for Petit. Of the 8th, with the Cardinals leading the Nationals 6-4. Sammy Solis, the 5th Washington pitcher of the night, making his 12th appearance, facing a pinch hitter, Matt Adams, who started Thursday's game, left due to back spasms after 2 at-bats. 6 pinch hit home runs. That is tied for 3rd among active players. Heisey at the top of the list, who we saw earlier. 2 on, 1 out. And Adams with a base hit into the right field corner. Molina scores. Here comes Garcia. So Adams off the bench, drives in 2, extending the Cardinals lead to 8-4.
Tell you what, Garcia was flying too, but what an at-bat again by Adams. I mean, the concentration of the pinch hitter, but I think knowing how they're going to pitch you is such a huge advantage. And he knows he's going to get something to hit. They're going to come after him, and he's going to be as aggressive as they are.
To me, it looked like he eliminated the breaking ball. Solis started with that curveball. When you have to cover such a big difference in miles per hour from 81 to 95 with Solis, looked to me like until he got to 2 strikes, he was all about the heater, and he got it.
So that ends the inherited runner streak for the Washington Nationals. Look at the Cardinals pinch hitters and what they have done this season.
That's just, I was looking at that.
That's
going,
crazy.
This year? My goodness.
St. Louis with 9 pinch hit home runs. The Nationals have 6. That's 15 out of the 37 pinch hit home runs in Major League Baseball this year have been hit by these 2 teams.
Well, it's mind-boggling, but if you think about it, what's coming out of the bullpen today? Everybody's bringing 95. I'm not saying you're going to get hit every time, but I am saying, as Tom, you just alluded to, you can eliminate the breaking ball. Forget it. You can't look for that from these guys coming out of the pen when they're throwing as hard as they do. That's what happens. You just got to look heater and hope you get fastball. And if not, they can throw their breaking ball, you tip your cap.
How about the number 9 spot in the Cardinals batting order? Wainwright, 2-run double in the 2nd. Adams, 2-run double in the 8th.
Wow. Let me hit 9.
Well, you
5
called
doubles.
Adams been red hot lately. You know, he was announced first. They bring the left-hander in for the matchup. See the intentional walk here. And, you know, you kind of lose the advantage of the matchup when Solis goes to the fastball. You know, the neutralizing breaking ball is not the pitch that Adams was looking for.
5 doubles in the game for the Cardinals, and a home run from Holiday back in the 3rd inning.
Now, Harold, I got to ask you, next year, would you be okay if we made this play automatic? Don't throw 4 intentional balls, just put the guy on first base?
No, you got to throw the ball.
I'm with you.
Got to throw it.
What if something happens? Wild pitch?
And it has happened. We've seen Miguel Cabrera get a hit. Vladimir Guerrero. We've seen this Nationals team in 2012 throw a wild pitch on an intentional walk in a playoff game.
In one of the college regionals, it threw it away and lost the game. It just changes the way you play. It also takes the pitcher out of the rhythm. There's a lot of things that happen. If you want to intentionally walk me, now you got to regroup and throw a strike.
Now, I like a lot of these ideas. Baseball is really kind of kicking around, brainstorming about speeding up the pace of action, not the pace of the game, the pace of the action. That's a bad one. I mean, that's not major league standards to just not even throw the pitch and tell someone to go to first base.
It will take longer for the guy to run down to first than to throw 4 pitches and see what happens. I want to see what happens.
Exactly. I mean, what are you shaving there? 45 seconds at most? Not worth it.
Hazel Baker batting for the first time. 2 on, 2 out. 2 runs in for the Cardinals here in the 8th.
And I think unlike football, you know, football eliminated the 3-yard line for the extra point because it was like automatic. This is not automatic because it doesn't happen all the time. It's not natural for pitchers to do.
They also made it harder.
How many guys?
The extra point.
The NFL did, yes. But how many guys do we see can't even throw the ball to first base?
Yeah.
It's a different thought for a pitcher.
Hazel Baker strikes out to end the inning, but Adams drives in 2 to extend the Cardinals' lead to 4. 8-4 Cardinals, bottom of the 8th inning. Kenny Albert, Harold Reynolds, Tom Verducci from Nationals Park. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Son Juan-O makes his 25th appearance for the Cardinals, and he will face a pinch hitter, Michael A. Taylor, batting for the pitcher Solis. To lead things off for the Nationals in the bottom of the 8th.
O's been good for these guys. Tell you what, seeing him in the clubhouse today, I didn't realize he was short as he is.
Strong, though.
He's strong.
He's thick.
He buffed the Joker. But I'm going to tell you what, I thought he was a lot taller.
Terrific career in Korea and Japan. He's the all-time saves leader in Korea. 33 years of age. His nickname, the Final Boss.
That's good. I like that.
41 saves in Japan last year for O. The 2-1 to Taylor. Now 2-2.
You know, Taylor, Tom, really fits a lot what we're seeing in baseball right now. It's a young player. How do you develop him when you're trying to win? And that's the tough thing. You don't get off to a good start, and you're not going to get the at-bats in the playing time.
Taylor called out on strikes. One away.
It's just well-executed sequence of fastballs. Oh, yeah, Taylor just hasn't been able to get enough ABs to be consistent. Still a lot of swing and miss in this game. But that was just 3 paint jobs right there by O.
Let's see O later.
You know, I think tomorrow when you look at the box score on Adam Wainwright giving up the 4 runs, I don't think that does the job he did justice. But he really threw the ball well. You know, home runs are going to happen. Good hitters got him. But there's one of them who got him, Bryce Harper.
Here's Ben Revere. That strikeout, guys, 35 in 26 innings for O.
Yeah, but back to Wainwright. It's just masterful watching him dissect the game and play within the game, which you don't get in the box score reading it back.
Exactly. I thought he really was in command throughout. He faced only 4 batters out of the stretch the entire game. And as you pointed out, H's rhythm was very good.
Grichuk, 2 out.
And if the Cardinals hold on to this victory here, this would be 7 straight starts they won with Adam Wainwright taking the ball. This would be the 2nd time in his career that happened. The last time was back in 2009. Something to be said for finding ways to win games for your team.
I've always said if there's a pitcher, and I know there's some great ones, but Adam Wainwright, it's hard to say I wouldn't pick him to be the guy. If I need to win a game, he knows how to win. He just knows how to win. We see it every October. He could be up against the toughest competitor, the Cy Young winner, you name it, and he always seems to walk away with the W.
8 runs helps too.
8 runs doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
And 53 over his last 7 starts.
He's got a good vibe going.
Yeah, he does.
They feel good when he's got the ball.
The 1-1 to Jason Worth, now 1-2.
I don't know. Can you still be the final boss when you pitch the 8th inning? Now that he's no longer a closer?
Excellent question.
Is it still the nickname? The penultimate boss is what we should call him? Doesn't have the same drama to it, does it? The penultimate boss.
Got the boss on there, though.
From ultimate to penultimate.
We got to look at his translator in the dugout. I think that was one of the smart moves that baseball's done in recent years.
Worth down on strikes. A 1-2-3-8 for the final boss. To the 9th here in Washington as Stephen Piscotty leads off for the Cardinals against Sean Kelly, making his 21st appearance. And when we spoke to Dusty Baker earlier tonight, he's been really impressed with what he's seen from Kelly so far this season.
He's got one of the best sliders in the game. In fact, he throws the slider more than his fastball. He started here with 2 fastballs. Good story, too. Made it back twice from Tommy John surgery.
Pitched for the Padres last year. 4 years in Seattle, 2 with the New York Yankees. The 6th Nationals pitcher tonight. Starter Gio Gonzalez lasted 4 2/3. Allowed 6 runs, 5 of the 6 coming with 2 outs, including all 4 back in the 2nd inning. It'll be Steven Strasburg for the Nationals tomorrow. He is 8-0, 11-0 over his last 14 starts. Michael Walker for the Cardinals.
You know, that's why the Nationals won't have long, prolonged losing streaks. They've got too much depth in that starting rotation. They are so deep. About the point Dusty made about the 4th and 5th starters is really important.
Ross and Roark.
Well, it helps too with Strasburg developing into, not that he wasn't an ace before, but I'm talking about a legitimate ace who's taking the ball deep into games. Just looks so much more comfortable. Adding the sliders really helped him.
Taking the money didn't hurt either.
Yeah, certainly relaxes you, doesn't it? $175 million is a pretty good pillow to sleep on at night.
the big thing with that too is you don't have to worry about the winter and everything else. You know where you're going to be.
And it's a place he likes.
Yeah.
Knows it well, obviously, and likes being here, wanted to stay here.
Nationals have won his last 14 starts dating back to last season.
Oh, windy. Swing. Kelly coming right at him. Scotty coming right back at him. It looks like he likes the ball away.
Tenth pitch of the at bat from Kelly as Piscotty shoots it into right. One away. Well, the Cardinals with an 8-4 lead. Mike Matheny, his 400th career win last night. And how about his son Jake, who's a catcher? He was named the Gatorade Player of the Year in Missouri this past week and is committed to the University of Indiana.
Indiana's starting to really become a baseball power. They've got a nice thing going there. Built a couple, about 3 or 4 years back. I know that coach went to Arizona State, but they were able to continue keeping that going.
Grichuk sends one to deep center field. And it is off the wall and then bounces away from Revere. And Grichuk is in at third with the Cardinals' 7th extra base hit.
Speaking of going, that ball just kept going.
It certainly fooled Ben Revere because he just kept drifting and then got himself caught too close to the wall to add another 90 feet on what should have been a double. Watch Revere. He thinks he's got this lined up and it just keeps going. He's going to find himself too close to the wall and a double becomes a triple.
And that's a good outfielder that got fooled. We've seen Ben Revere make some great catches out there. That's how much that ball's carrying. That probably carried an extra 15, 20 feet.
Molina, first pitch. Harper on the run. And he makes the catch. Coming in to score easily is Grichuk on the sacrifice fly. And the Cardinals now lead 9-4.
Did you see how Harper learned, though? Yeah. He sprinted as soon as that ball was hit instead of drifting. He was able to learn from that ball hit to Revere how much the ball's carrying.
And that ball carried, too.
Well, we heard Max Scherzer talk about it. I guess he would know as well as anybody about how much the ball carries in this park. It's fooling me. I didn't think this park was a home run park.
4 home runs tonight. Any other balls hit to the warning track. Kelly and Jerko, teammates in San Diego last year. A matchup with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning.
Speaking of San Diego, they traded James Loney to the
Mets.
The Mets, and then they're talking about maybe moving James Shields. I think there may be some other moves as well. So it's like they're starting to unload a little more.
Diving play by Drew to retire Jerko. We head to the bottom of the 9th in Washington. It's a 5-run lead for the Cardinals. Bryce Harper, home at his last at bat, leads off for the Nats. Bottom of the 9th here in Washington. Follow live baseball with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Bryce Harper back in the 6th inning. 13th of the season, a solo shot off Adam Wainwright. StatCast powered by Amazon. And Harper will lead off here in the 9th against Dean Kekeffer, the 26-year-old left-hander. 3rd pitcher of the game for the Cardinals, making his 7th appearance. We talked about the draft earlier. Kekeffer back in 2010 was the 1,099th overall pick.
Wow.
In the 36th round. And
See,
here he is in the big leagues facing Bryce Harper.
I love it. You know, they've had talk about eliminating rounds, as many as 10. And what you're doing is you're cutting the opportunities and the gene pool. We're cutting out scouts already. So where are we going to get players? You know, we've had this great migration to Cuba. And let's go run all over the world. I hits from across the world with a bullet. But I still think we got to continue to expand our opportunities here in this country as well.
Yeah, you got a lot of minor league teams you need to fill. And stories like this, you just love them. You know, if you don't have the draft, maybe he doesn't get found. Pete Heffer, obviously, if you're going to throw no harder than 89, you have to have some deception. And obviously, the left on left, drop down delivery, got him into the big leagues. The specialty job of being a left-hander matching up against lefties.
Keith Heffer out of the University of Louisville. 7th year in the Cardinals organization. A 1-2 to Harper. So Harper is retired. One away here in the bottom of the 9th in Washington. Guys, this is game 50 for the Nationals. First time all season they have allowed more than 8 runs. Last team to do so as the Cardinals scored their 9th in the top of the 9th inning. First time all year Nationals have allowed at least 9 in one game.
Even more alarming is this game 50. This season is flying by. Wow.
And Daniel Murphy's still hitting over 390. Now at 392. Great job by our entire crew tonight, led by our producer Aaron Stoikov, director Matt Gangle, associate director Gilbert Zepeda, broadcast associate Sam Younger, Marty Aronoff crunching the numbers along with David Corus. Thanks to our entire crew. Baseball night in America.
So I just, you know, when you think of how difficult it is to hit 400, you know, this is 50 games. Nice high school year. Now do it again next year and do it again the following year.
And this is why. You know, he's facing a funky left-hander late in the game he's never seen before. Ted Williams didn't do that. You know, he's facing a starting pitcher 3 or 4 times. Now we got all these specialty relief pitchers. Hang with him, Murph.
Our Gatorade Frost cool under pressure moment. A pair of home runs for Ryan Zimmerman tonight off Adam Wainwright.
One to left center, one to right center that you saw. Just great approach. Hadn't had great success before tonight. He made a nice adjustment. Kenny, I think you said he had never homered off Wainwright, correct?
He did not. Prior to tonight. Zimmerman with his 4th hit of the game as he singles to left.
Night.
That's a good sign for Dusty Baker, because ideally, the way he started this season, you would split up the lefties, Harper and Murphy, and have Zimmerman between the two of them, just to avoid this matchup problem late in the game.
Zimmerman matching his career high with 4 hits, 11th time he has done that. And now Zimmerman will take second base uncontested.
The other guy they're missing is Rendon. They have to get him going, because he was the guy a couple years ago that filled that void where you could go left, right, left, right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's starting to show some signs, much better the last couple of weeks. Really, I like what Dusty Baker did. He tells his players when their days off are coming. He told Anthony earlier in the week, you're going to have Saturday off. So even though you're swinging the bat well the last couple of days, you plan ahead to know I've got the day off Saturday.
And what that does, Dusty doesn't just tell you, hey, you're off Saturday. He says, we're going out. Go hang out Friday. That's the time to go do it, because I'm not going to play you regardless. And that's how he keeps guys mentally fresh and still being able to keep them aware of when they're going to play. And a lot of guys don't do that.
Rendon came out into the on-deck circle earlier, but Ramos grounded into the double play.
They did that earlier this week with Bryce Harper, did it with Daniel Murphy, and today was Rendon's day.
I mean, they do it in spring training. You may as well do it during the season. Why not?
Left field off the bat of Drew. And the Cardinals have won their second straight here in Washington. St. Louis with 4 runs in the second inning. Nationals pulled to within 6-4, but St. Louis adding 3 late runs, and they win it by the score of 9-4. And now greater coverage of baseball is sponsored by T-Mobile.
Well,
Adam Wainwright, right here, this kind of broke the game open. Those back-to-back hits, and particularly his split in the outfield, drove in a runner from first base to score 2 on that one. And then he just got in control. He got in such great rhythm. He smelled the victory when he had a 4-0 lead, and he pitched according to that. And he just really, I thought, pitched to the situations and was masterful.
Little league game, 2 RBIs and the W. 7th straight time they've won behind Adam Wainwright.
He is now 5-3 on the season. 5-0 over his last 7 starts, and the 2-run double in that 4-run second. So for Tom Verducci and Harold Reynolds, this is Kenny Albert saying so long from Washington. We'll get you to Los Angeles with Kevin Burkhardt and Eric Karros following this commercial break.